Reason podcast. Here are your hosts, Sean Phillips, Andy Van Beber, and Travis Kirkendall.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Andy Van Beber. That's Travis Kirkendall. And this is the Voice of Reason podcast 2023. It is August the 8th. Hey, August the 8th. Our buddy Sean just got back from Louisville last night late from another taping for his what is it? I can't remember the name of the wrestling company, but
I can't either.
But it's you know, he
does production. He goes down there like once a month or so.
He goes down there once a month, and they film. I want to say that they film like three different episodes, and or 3 or 4 different episodes. It's like a 2-hour wrestling event, and then people come down for it. So, but he's doing that tonight, and so here we are. But
2-man show.
You know what? And I can tell you what, this has been one of those great weekends where you just wish that, you know, you could sit in a tub full of scissors and eat some watermelon with ground glass in it. It's, you know.
That great, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, no, it was actually, we had a good time. We had I led a youth retreat for our church this weekend, junior high youth, and so it was a lot of fun. And this is the last week before I have to go back to the dreaded, you know, for school.
I was waiting for it.
For school next week, but you know, it is what it is, and so we'll be happy with it, and you know. But that's...
Oh, you know what? Random thought. You know what great sound effect we need to add in?
What's that?
You remember that one? I was like, your face! This would be a funny random one to throw in there. Sorry, random thought.
Random thought.
We got to add that one in there.
What in the ADHD is going on over there? I'm telling you what. And we have to make up for Sean not being here. But no, and Sean's doing, of course, dad thing, and so he's trying to balance. And I tell you what, you're going to find out here shortly, Travis, that it is... You know, being the dad, the new dad life, and balance between, you know, I may be doing a one-man show every now and then, probably with you guys balancing everything out. I'm telling you. So,
yeah, we'll make it work.
When is your little one going to be here?
Still November 2nd is the due date.
So
what they're anticipating.
Yeah, so you still got a little bit of time. That's good.
Yeah, for sure.
So how was your weekend?
Busy. I am remodeling our spare bedroom. It's going to be the baby room. So I'm repainting everything. This weekend I got the closet painted and the ceiling painted, and I got 2 coats on the trim on the windows. I'll probably do another coat, and then I got to prime my other walls, and then so like one wall is going to be like a dark blue, and we're going to like decorate it and stuff like that, and the rest of the walls are going to be like a lighter blue.
Very cool. Very
but
cool.
We're getting there, and then after the paint's done, I am doing the floor. The floor is currently sitting in the garage, and
is that what you're doing?
I'm gonna give it my best shot.
Vinyl flooring? Yeah,
the ones that's like snapping.
Hey, you call. We'll talk about that after the show, but we'll talk about that after the show. But anyway,
yeah, I would like to do it myself. I really would, but I'm like nervous about doing it myself. So it's like, do I pay the money to have someone do it, or like can I figure this out?
If it wasn't my birthday, seriously, if it wasn't my birthday this weekend, I'd come up and help you do it. So.
Oh, you're good. You're all good.
So the big 4.9 will hit me on Friday, and then the big 5. It's just anymore. It's just a number, so it's okay. But no, we of course over the weekend also. I think I mentioned this to you also, because I was giving you guys. Did you end up watching the fight Friday night or not, or Saturday night?
Yeah, I started watching at round 4. I think is when I tuned in.
So we are, and I can actually attribute this to Travis and to Sean both getting me into. I was kind of in lightly to, and I'm still not major league into the boxing MMA scene, but I'm watching it a lot more because doing the show with these guys. and with and the fact that Jake Paul is a douchebag anyway, and everybody hates him, and so whenever he comes on, and of course you guys taught me who Nate Diaz is, and I thought, okay, so this is going to be a fight that I'm going to want to watch, and just we're not going to spend a lot of time on this, but just Nate Diaz, you, you know, I think that out of all the MMA fighters that Jake Paul is that he has fought, Nate Diaz probably gave him the best. I think the best fight, I guess you could say.
Out of MMA fighters,
Out of the
yes,
MMA,
I would
yeah,
agree.
now boxing, no, no, because I want him, and I had forgotten you guys. I said, man, if he would just fight a real boxer, and you guys both said he has fought a real boxer and he's lost, and
And it's like
that was that Tommy
real boxer,
was that
like
Tommy
Tommy
Fury?
Fury.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Tommy Fury won decision, and there was a knockdown from Jake Paul, but it was clearly a slip, but they gave him a knockdown.
yeah,
But Tommy Fury dominated the whole fight. He boxed him and
yeah.
dominated him on points.
I just can't I can't tolerate I just can't tolerate Jake Paul. I just and then the
I mean,
call.
I'll give him credit though, man. Like he's brilliant in that like he's not a professional like I mean, the way he's marketed himself, like no one has done anything like that guy has done before. And the fact that he's making more than
Oh
most professional boxers doing what
yeah,
he's doing and UFC fighters, I mean, I think he's
they
really paving the way and like showing fighters, hey, this is how you promote yourself. This is how you market yourself.
well that's what I
And I
was.
mean,
How much is he making per fight?
I haven't seen the numbers, but I mean, I know he's pulled millions.
And so between
I can't name a specific number right now, but he's done very, very well for someone that started boxing like 5 years ago.
and so is he the younger or the older brother?
I believe he's the younger.
I
I
mean,
believe Logan's older.
yeah, and so Logan, when I see Jake and Logan, I mean Jake is more. I mean, you can tell he's worked harder at getting in shape. I mean, Logan is.
There's no question. The guy trains. Like the guy is, he legit works his ass off in doing what he does.
Hmm.
He's not up there faking it. Like
Hmm.
he fights, you know,
But I
and he
mean,
has improved.
I want to know. I want to know whose salad Logan Paul had to toss though to get into the WWE. Though I mean, it was. I'm sure it was like kind of a fluke at first to get in, but now he's marketing himself in the WWE like Jake Paul is
Oh,
in boxing.
and they got the prime. They got the prime energy drink
Which
stuff
tastes.
too.
I'm
I mean,
sorry, that stuff tastes like swill though. I tried some.
I've had them. They're all right,
Yeah.
but I mean, they're entrepreneurs, man. They're really
Oh,
doing it.
they're out there doing that, and I thought it was impressive though. I will say that. So I had SummerSlam on one side, and I had the Paul Diaz. I had a split screen going the whole night, and Logan Paul fought, and so so SummerSlam was in Detroit. The fight was in Dallas. Logan Paul fought in I think either the first or second fight in SummerSlam, gets on a plane, flies to Dallas, makes it to Dallas by the
Yeah, he was
11:15.
in like his costume and
Yeah,
everything.
I mean, and I thought, well, that's dedication to your brother right there. You know, the fight didn't start till like 11:15, 11:30 somewhere in there, but it was,
Yeah, it was late.
I was having a hard time. It's like, oh, this is so, and you guys said it before I said, it's like, you said this is like one of the ugliest fights you've ever seen.
Oh, it was
It
terrible.
was
I mean,
terrible.
it was some disgusting boxing.
Yeah. But anyway, so tonight our episode is called "Should We Try This in a Small Town?" Should we try this in a small town? And
It's funny. That's been our quote at work now. Like it's like everything like when we're like talking shit to each other, like try that in a
try
small
that in a
town.
small
It's like making
town.
fun of this one.
Well, and here's the
God.
thing. The thing about it was, you know, I'm going to tell you, I had a very wild hair up my butt today because I thought just for a brief second, I was like, man, I bet you I could call McDingers and get into McDingers tonight and do a live show with this as the
Oh my
topic.
God. Oh, for sure. Probably be packed.
And then I was like, man, I'll probably get bum rushed if I say the wrong thing or something like that. So I thought twice about it, but
Risky.
I was like, yeah, no, I'll be okay. So, but
I don't think we're gonna make people too upset this
well,
episode.
you know, and we're gonna, as you can see in our both of our background, Travis has the Dark Side of the Moon, Pink Floyd behind him. I have one of my favorite bands behind me, AC/DC. Neither one of us are per se country music aficionados. Okay, I've been a DJ. I've been a DJ for 20 years. I've done weddings, I've done proms, I've done birthday parties. I've done it all, and I've done a lot of, I have done one strictly country wedding. The guy's like, I don't want any rap, I don't want no cha-cha slide, I don't want any Cupid shuffle, I don't want any. He said straight country. And oh geez. And so what I ended up doing was I went and so I did a country wedding, but I was miserable for 3 hours. I mean, I got paid, but I was miserable for 3 hours. So needless to say, I'm not a country aficionado.
I want to defend my stance, but I am very picky on my country music, and I like real artists.
Yes.
Like not even older. Like I think modern, like Midland is a brilliant band. I think they're brilliant songwriters. They're very talented. Tyler Childers, like stuff like guys like that. Okay, real artists.
I like Chris Stapleton.
Songwriters, yeah, Chris Stapleton.
Yeah.
Ridiculous, cheesy, corny songwriters like Jason Aldean. Like this song, I'm so.
You're like,
all right,
this song is.
I'm sorry, that song sucks, man. I was forcing myself to watch the music video. It sucks. It's so cringe.
Oh,
it's so cringe. Before we even get to the controversy, the song sucks. I said it. I don't care. You're not taking that off either.
Oh no, I'm not going to take that. Oh, I'm going to go over the chat bar real quick to make sure nobody cuss you. Oh. Yes, Colby Coleman is on. Yes, Colby Coleman. Yes, I do like Alabama. Alabama that's old country that I like. I like Alabama. But so the premise of this song, and I'm not going to go through and play the whole song because I don't want to subject Travis to that. But just to give
everyone's heard the song. If you haven't listened to the song, we're not playing it.
Well, and I mean, just to give you the
lyrics pulled up here too. So we wanted to go through some of the quotes
so the lyrics, sucker punch somebody on the sidewalk, carjack an old lady at a red light, pull a gun on the owner of a liquor store. You think it's cool? Well, act a fool if you like. Cuss out a cop, spit in his face, stomp on the flag, and light it up. Yeah, you think you're tough. Try that in a small town. See how far you make it down the road. Around here, we take care of our own. You cross that line, it won't take long for you to find out. I recommend you don't try that in a small town. Got a gun that Granddad gave me. They say one day they're going to round up. We'll try that. Might fly in the city. Good luck. Try that in a small town, and then that's pretty much the whole thing. The message of the song, and I'll say this: the message of the song is. Living in a small town all of my life, I can literally say the only town that I lived in that had a population of over 5,000 people was when I lived in Hannibal, when I went to Hannibal LaGrange College. Other than that, I have always lived in a town smaller than 5,000 people. Currently, I think Louisiana has like 3,500, something like that. But, I've lived in a town of 100 people before. And one of the great things, and I'll get to this part before we talk about the song itself. The message of this song is, hey, we stand together, we stand united, we got each other's back in a small town. And I think it's a good message. Yeah, we've got your back in a small town. Travis, you're Neolia, and we know how that is. We had a tragedy this last Friday. We had a young man in our community, 10 years old, who died in a side-by-side accident. And this is
shit! I didn't know that.
I'll have to tell you about it later. But this was the second. This was the second student at Clopton that we have lost this year. Already since Friday, we've had one of our guests on the show, and I'm not trying to glorify them or anything, but Lauren Logman and her mother set up this. By the way, if you ever get into a thing where you have to provide meals for a family, or you want to provide meals for a family, They have this new app that's called Meal Ticket that basically, instead of just taking a bunch of food to the family all at once, you can set up meals on there, and it's kind of an organized, very cool thing. But shout out to Susan and Lauren Loggeman for that. That was a good thing, great thing to help that family. But the point being that when you're in a small town, that people do back each other up, and that's the beauty of small town life. I've loved small town life. Some people are like, well, everybody knows everybody else's business, and if you don't know anybody else's business, just go down to the beauty salon and you'll find out everybody's business in 20 minutes. You know, that kind of mentality, but that's the small town. Now, that being said, so now we get into the lyrics of this song. Yes, hey, Bryce Trainor's on Help Thy Neighbor. You're right, buddy. But the lyrics to this song, let's back up. So the controversy actually isn't over the song itself. Nobody has said anything about the lyrics of the song or anything like that I've really seen. Where the outcry is on this song is because of the video. So if you watch the video, and I believe they said this video was filmed, I want to say it was either, I don't know if you can look that up or not, Travis, but I think it was in...
Look it up right now.
I don't know why somebody said Durham, North Carolina. I don't think that's where it was at, but where the video was filmed, though, was in front of this courthouse. Now, this courthouse carries history.
It was filmed in Murray County Courthouse in Columbia, Tennessee.
So that's where, I think Aldean's from Tennessee, too, I think. But they filmed this video in front of this courthouse. Now, this courthouse was notorious back during late 1800s, early 1900s for lynchings. They would have lynch mobs, and they would hang people there at that courthouse. Yes.
Side note, he's from Macon, Georgia.
Oh, see, I'm messing up. That's how much I know country music. But
it's all good. I got you.
So you really had to be knowing what this video was about and I've watched this video, I don't know, 7 or 8 times today, just alone by itself. And it's through reaction videos that I've gotten from watching other people, white and black. And so I tried to, what I did to be, subjective on this was just to say, okay, I'm going to listen to this from both sides. I want to get a feel from what the left is saying, what the right's saying. And to be quite honest, so the one who brought all this to the forefront was a young lady by the name of, I believe it's Destiny Stark. I think it's Destiny Stark. I think's her name. African American woman. And she brought this up on TikTok, and she said, "Is anybody going?" And basically the subject of the video was, "Is anybody going to say anything about the dog whistles in this Jason Aldean video?" What she was referring to was and this is a new term that, I shouldn't say new term that's being thrown out there, but it's up there with gaslighting and everything else like that. When you use the term dog whistles, and it's something that only a certain group will pick up on, or it's something that's only aimed at a certain group. And so in this video, her complaint was, is anybody going to complain about the dog whistles in this video? And the list of the things that she listed as dog whistles in this video, number one was the fact that this was in front of this courthouse that was used for lynching. Number two thing that she pointed out was that Murray County was one of, and I used to teach in a town back when the first time I taught in Bloomfield. They call these towns sunset towns, and they have sunset laws, which basically meant every African American had to be out. It was in the books. Some of these towns still had them on the books, and it just kind of faded away. Nobody enforces it, but some of these towns had on the books that black people had to be out of town by sunset. And her big thing was, well, it's a sunset at the end of the video, and and then the whole thing about how there, and then in the original in the original video, and I can't find a original copy of the original video anywhere. The original video actually had some news clippings in it or something that were targeted, that some things were, it was targeted at, okay, well, riots in the city over the death of such and such. And one of them was over the death of George Floyd. Okay. So, from what I was reading back now this song came out in May. This is May 17th is when this song came out. The song came out on May 17th. And
when was the video released, though? May 17th as well?
I don't know when
let me look that up.
This has been all of this. So the TikTok was released 10 days ago or 11 days ago. I'm thinking, okay, why is it just now that this is coming? So I don't know if when the video was released or when, but
okay, I don't know.
CMT, Country Music Television, has already pulled it from the airwaves.
3 weeks ago.
How much? 3 weeks ago?
Now the song, yeah. So the song was released. The lyrics, or just the song itself, was released, 2 months ago.
Yeah, May. So
saying on YouTube.
Yep.
But then the video was released 3 weeks ago, apparently.
So
according to YouTube.
So this is typical for. And I mean, if you're any kind of music fan, I don't know where people watch music videos. Probably just on YouTube anyway anymore, because MTV sure as heck ain't doing it. But if you usually the way they work, is that to do promo work for the album, and they do relate. They'll release. I mean, YouTube and what's that other, Vivo is the other one that does a lot of videos and everything. And so people go to Vivo, and I think Vivo has it's one of these free channels you get like on your TV. If you've got a internet TV, it actually, Vivo is one of those channels you can get. It just plays music videos all the time. And so there still is a thing about people being able to watch music videos, and it's a way for artists to promote their album. Now, here's the question that you have to look at when you watch this video. Okay? If I'm the producer, do I to look at this both ways. Does the director of the video have big enough balls to purposely put all this stuff in it? Does he have is this absolutely a mistake? This was an oops that somebody didn't catch? I mean, and some of the other things that I researched, there were two. So there was a bunch of riot scenes in this video. There was one from Georgia. There was one from Los Angeles. One from Minneapolis. During the George Floyd riots. There were two scenes. One was the lyric when a person spits in a cop's face, and they have a video of a woman spitting in a cop's face. That's from Berlin. That was from Berlin. That wasn't even from America. There's another one where people were fighting against the police, and it was from the Ukraine back in the early 2000s. Okay, people fighting against the police. And so, but the riots, every one of the riot videos were either George Floyd or Black Lives Matter. Now, if you had to really, and I'm not defending but you had to really watch and pay attention. So, from the outset, so Travis, I want to get, what are you interpreting when you see this, when you watch this video, or when you see this? What are you interpreting this as? Is this, I mean,
it's a little tricky. Number one, I wasn't aware that he had put videos from Ukraine and other parts of the world.
Those were the only two things that were in there, Berlin and the Ukraine. Those were the only two.
Right. Granted, it's only two things, but still, you're fitting something that to fit what you're trying to push. That doesn't have anything to do with it. But whatever. I won't even go there. The video itself, I'm kind of split on it. Because number one, of all places, why did he pick that specific place? Now, I saw an article claiming that Jason Aldean apparently is like said he hasn't read a book since high school, and so I guess he's making the claim. No, I just read it, so maybe he's
Good
making the
job,
claim
buddy.
that he
Good
didn't
job.
know the history of this place or whatever it is. But it just it just seems like an interesting location to shoot the video. Um, and he was showing skits from those protests and those specific riots. I don't I don't know because there's a lot of controversy on like, peaceful protesting and non-peaceful protesting. Obviously, like the rioting and stuff like that, we can agree it probably was not okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
Peaceful protesting is okay.
Right.
But I don't know, showing that, but then some of the lyrics that's going along while the video's playing, I can see why there's some controversy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can see why some people are upset with it. My personal belief on it, this kind of goes in what I've said on numerous topics. I really don't care. I'm not a fan of his music, one, and
Mm-hmm.
two, like Rogan had a pretty good take on the video. He's like, there's been controversial songs in the past. I mean, like, there's rap songs that are significantly
Oh,
worse
yeah.
than what Jason Aldean has talked about. I
Yeah.
mean, let's go back to, I'm a huge NWA fan. Let's go back to NWA Straight Outta Compton, right? Fuck the police.
Yeah. F the
It
police,
was
man. Yep.
a sign of the times, right? I
Yep.
mean, there was a lot of
Gangster
controversy
rap
in that
was, yeah.
time. There was a lot of tension between the police and people in that community, and it was a song of the times. And you could argue that the Jason Aldean song is a song of the times we just experienced,
Mm-hmm.
right? What's the difference, really?
Ice-T did Cop Killer. I mean, he had a song that was blatantly called Cop Killer. So, I mean, when you,
Right, and granted, these are going both ways, right? You have
right.
once these people talking about the police, you got these guys talking about the protesters. I see it all kind of as the same thing in a sense,
So just to
to
bring
an
something.
extent.
So this week's poll question was: how do you respond to a controversial TV theme or song? So we had, let's see here. So we had the options were change the channel, turn it off, boycott a station for playing the content, recognize free speech, and let it go. I'll let you just kind of venture guess as to which one got the most votes, and that was recognize free speech and let it go. 26.
Yeah,
It was just by 1%. It was 26% said recognize free speech and let it go. You had 25% that said turn it off, and you had, or no, I'm sorry, you had 23% that said turn it off, and then there were some other
by turn
suggestions.
it off. What do we mean by turn it off? Like cancel it, or
No, no,
just
no,
like
just
don't
turn
listen
off
to
the
it?
radio. Just turn off the radio.
Okay,
You know,
okay, fair
and
enough.
so
Yeah, the free speech thing, I agree. I gotta ask though, like, he had to have known that what he was producing and what he was going to release was going to cause some tension. He had to have known this was going to cause some controversy. And my issue with it is we're in a time right now where we're already divided in a
mm-hmm.
sense. It seems like the news outlets are pushing race issues more and more and more.
I
And
agree.
to release a song and video like this, like
You're adding
I understand
fuel
an
to.
artist wants to put their stance out there. I mean, that's a big part of being an artist. You put your views out to the world and your followers, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure, this song and video very much goes with his demographic and listeners.
Yeah,
But at the same time, why make something that you know is going to cause issues? I mean,
I think people
I don't know.
we
I
get
know
a.
some artists that's
Well, let's
I
go.
don't
Let's
know.
go back to the example. Well, first of all, let's get what Jason Aldean said. I'm going to bring up the quote here. What he says. He says in the
Yeah,
past.
what's his response to it?
So he said in the past 24 hours, I've been accused of releasing a pro-lynching song, a song that has been out since May, and was subject to the comparison that I direct quote was not too pleased with the nationwide BLM protest. He tweeted on this was last Tuesday, a week ago today. He said these references are not only meritless but dangerous. There is not a single lyric in the song that references race or points to it, and there isn't a single video clip that isn't a real news footage. And while I can try and respect others to have their interpretation of a song with music, this one goes too far. So, you know,
And I get it. I get it.
You had a bunch of people now, and what was really kind of, you had people from all sides of the aisle contributing to this discussion as far as musicians go. You had Ted, of course, Ted Nugent's going to say what Ted Nugent's going to say,
Oh yeah.
but he basically said, "Oh, it's just cancel culture," and they're trying to, they're trying to cancel him on that. Probably the biggest one that caught a lot of fire was from um, Cheryl Crow. You know, she said,
What was her take on it?
so her quote was this. She said, "I'm from a small town." And she's actually from the Boot Hill, Missouri. She said,
Oh,
"I'm from a
jeez.
small town, even Kennett, Missouri." That's what it is, Kennett, Missouri. I had to think about it for a second. But she says, "I'm from a small town." She said, "Even people in small towns are sick of violence. There's nothing small town or American about promoting violence. You should know better. You should know that better than anyone having survived a mass shooting." Now, that was in reference to, if you remember back in 2017 in Las Vegas, it was the
Mm.
Route 90. I think it was the Route 91 Harvest Festivals. And that was the one where the guy was, and there were a bunch of country artists, people who were, and it killed 58 people. It was in front of Mandalay Bay, and he references back. He's like, I don't want violence, and so, you know, to me, and again, to me, there's not. They talk about the good old boys in the small town and all that crap. There was another lyric in that small. The only.
Well, like the whole like got a gun that my granddad gave me. They say one day they're gonna round up. Well, that shit might fly in a city. Good luck. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
come on. I mean, like, what
Full
are
of
you?
full of good
What are you
old
getting
boys
at
raised
there?
up right. If you're looking for a fight, try that in a small town. So to me, those two statements are the only ones that even remotely resemble, or
Yeah, for sure.
but this whole thing, this is again part of this overall narrative of pitting black people against white people against black people.
100%.
And what's even worse now, though, so the trend now, it's actually trending on TikTok this week. The song is not racist, but I am. That's a trending topic on. So people doing these TikToks of the song playing in the background, and it says, "This song is not racist, but I am." That and it's
That's a
so.
thing.
As of when I looked this up, as of today, I mean, it's not a major thing, but it over 120,000 TikToks that
Jesus
says,
Christ.
This song's not racist, but I am." This, and to me, this shows the ignorance of people. Okay, for people, I mean, we've discussed this many times on this podcast. Racism still exists in this country. Racism is still alive and well. Unfortunately, is alive and well in this country, because you have a bunch of backwoods thinking people who still go back to whatever. And to me, racism is built on ignorance. I do not tolerate racism in any way, shape, or form. And but as I was watching the reaction videos to this today, and I watched a ton, and I found about 4 or 5. I mean, I did a Google search for dog whistles in Jason Aldean. Try that in a small town. I did a liberals' views on small. Try that, and I came about 5 or 6 videos, and they all brought up good points. But I mean, to me, it was like, okay, why are we this culture now that is looking for the evil in everything? We're looking for the evil in everything. Turn it off, okay? You mentioned NWA. I only became an NWA probably within the last. I'm not a diehard NWA fan. When Straight Outta Compton came out, I enjoyed the movie, and so I started listening to some of their music. Okay, but I knew what they were about because I was alive back when their music came out. And I mean, they had so much negative mainstream, and a bunch of us kids in high school. I mean, we had kids in our high school who listened to that stuff, you know. But if we didn't like it, we didn't listen to it. And if you know, there's a, you want to hear some really, go back and listen to Two Live Crew. There was a group called Two Live Crew back in the 80s. You want to get some of the raunchiest rap ever. It makes that one song WAP look like, you know, the theme to Mickey Mouse Club, okay? It's not, there were just some, but we didn't blow a gasket over it. And I am going to speak in defense of this young lady on TikTok. She's gotten over 1 million views. But you know, I may not agree with her standpoint, but this young lady has been getting death threats. Death threats. How ignorant is that? You know, she may say something that isn't that.
What did she say to give her that? What was her?
Well, that the song
that
the song was racist. The video was racist.
Oh, okay, you're referring to that.
Yeah. So she's the one who started this whole. I mean, she was the one that she was kind of the firebrand in this whole thing, getting it all started. Okay. One thing that I cannot tolerate, you know, and I've said this 1,000 times on this particular podcast. We promote both sides. Everybody getting their voices heard, even if we don't do, you know, we've said it before. We're not Trump people on the show, but we dedicated an entire show to interviewing a Trump supporter. You know, Travis and I and Sean have differing views on transgenderism and stuff like that. We dedicated a whole episode to having a transgender person on this show. And then we had another show where we had a woman athlete who didn't like, you know, talked about competing against transgender. So
we probably bash Biden more than we bash Trump.
Yeah, we actually do bash Biden more than we do.
We share videos of him all the time.
Yeah, we do.
But anyway, that's beside
that's beside the point. But this whole thing of people, you know, not, I don't know if who's doing it or how. Well, I know who's doing it. It is the news media doing it. But this constant, you know, the whole thing of, I got you. Oh, we got him on this one. Let's put this out there and let it stir it up. Let's let this stir up this side for a while. Okay. Well, now we'll let it stir that up for a little while. And so now, instead of just letting things just, well, we need to speak up about it. Why? Well, it's wrong. Okay. Are you going to?
Because everybody wants to be the social justice police now.
Exactly. And it may make me sound lazy. It may, you know, the issues that we do need to fight is, you know, yes, we do need to fight racism. When it's blatant racism, when it's a white cop who's beating the holy hell out of where was that at? That the FedEx guy was beaten up by the cops for no reason. I forgot where that was at. You know.
Oh, we covered
that story, and that was so terrible. Yeah, that's the kind of racism we need to be fighting. We need to be fighting, you know, people, you know, when somebody's referring to someone as this or that or the other, and they're making, that's the stuff we need to be targeting. But when we're holding up a magnifying glass. Now that woman has her right. She has her right to bring that up. You know,
of course.
And we'll bring, you know, when I put our TikToks out this week, and I'm sure I'm going to catch a bunch of, you know, crap for this from both one side or the other. You know, oh, I hate white people's opinions, or I hate, you know, whatever. But I think that the common person applying common community standards, which is people who I've been watching. Literally, I had to take my sister-in-law to the doctor today, and I was telling Travis this earlier. I had tons of time on my hands today, and I watched a lot of videos of African Americans reacting to Try That in a Small Town. Some of these minor league rappers watching, and you're watching these guys. Just go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. I challenge anybody who's listening to this, go to YouTube and just type in reactions to Try That in a Small Town and go for the African American folks and see what they think.
Or even read the comments section on this music video. It was mostly positive things. And a lot of people saying like, "Hey, I'm a black male. I listen to this and I agree with the message and stuff." And granted, it's comments. How much of that's real or not, I don't know. But it was mostly positive comments.
The thing that drives me nuts, if we want to, the whole concept of racism is based upon fear and ignorance. Okay. And like I said before, the media needs something to stir people up. Okay. I remember a 60 minutes interview with Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace did with Morgan Freeman, and this has been years ago. But Morgan Freeman said, Mike Wallace is like, well, why are you so outspoken about, ending or about not talking about racism? More people want you to talk about racism. And he's like, why? He said, you want racism to go away? Stop talking about it. And I was like, oh my. And he's like, why are we and then he starts going, and then he goes into this rant about why are we relegating different months to certain groups? Why do we have a Pacific Islander History Month? Why do we have a Black History Month? Why do we have what? He's like, shouldn't that be something that should be studied all year long? Shouldn't that be something that be focused on all year long? And, I thought, well, but you have to be careful though. I say all this, but I also say one other thing. We can't just turn a blind eye to racism. But we at the same time though, how big of a magnifying glass are we? I mean, am I wrong? And I'm not a country music fan. Definitely not a Jason Aldean fan. Never will be. Okay. Like I said, I like my older country music better. I like, pre-90s. I'm old school.
No, but I think we're just discussing the controversy of the song, not necessarily the song itself. And
yeah, and
I guess my final thoughts on it are, I think it's a stretch in what people are claiming the song to be. I think some of the stuff people point out, yeah, it's questionable, but I think, like you said, I think they're kind of taking a magnifying glass to this. I don't think Jason Aldean had the intention of this being a racist song pointed at a certain demographic of people.
Mm-hmm.
But, I could see the controversy, but I don't see it as racist. I think that's the stretch.
Right. We say this a lot when we talk about certain issues or we discuss certain issues on the podcast. This is how this is what I'm going to throw at you right now. And I heard this from a guy today that I was watching, and it spoke to me. It was, people, do your homework. Do your homework. We said this over and over and over and over and over.
We say this every episode, but it's so true. It applies to everything, all these issues.
For every issue. That's why we call this the voice of reason. We're the voice of reason to say, hey, let's look at what's going on here. Okay? Let's look at what's really trying to be accomplished here. Okay? And use common sense. Okay? Use common sense and don't get caught up in the narrative. If you want to call BS, call BS. But do your homework. Do your homework. So we didn't want to overflow tonight with this, but this is one of those topics that we just wanted to reach out and we wanted to say, okay, we have to discuss this. This is something we need to discuss and talk about.
Yeah, after last week, we finally found a serious, controversial topic to talk about.
Hey, now listen.
No 10 laughs this week.
The thing the last week when we had on TikTok, we got a lot of likes on TikTok for that.
Did we?
Yeah, man.
Yes.
I only posted one video this week, And just
Which
from the
one was it? What skit was it?
It was
What
about
part?
making the comparison. I just titled it, was Eyes Wide Shut, was it really based, and people are just like, oh man, I didn't even think about that. TikTok is where we got a lot. We just get a lot of views normally, but we actually got a lot of likes on it. And I was like,
That's so cool.
I was like, man, Travis was really onto something then last week. Good job, buddy. So anyway, but
That was a fun
anyway,
rabbit hole to go down.
so we find rabbit holes, but I knew we needed to approach this week, and we wanted to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure.
So, but shout out to our boy Sean. We hope that he gets back into the dad life, and he gets a balance, and hopefully he'll be back with us next week. I'll be miserable next week because, hey, I'll be back from, wait a minute, one more time. There you go. Oh, but I'll be back to that next week. So, but in the meantime, tell a friend, share with people and share with everybody. Tell about our group, tell about our podcast, tell about whatever. I'm just rambling on.
Send us topic ideas.
Yes.
We're generally, I know we kind of done a couple episodes. We're not a conspiracy theory podcast. We really try to keep political and social issues and controversial stuff, but just send us what you got. We'll look into it. We like talking about different things. We do look at your recommendations. We do.
I'm telling you, MK Ultra is always the one that always pops up.
I know. It's I don't know. Do we do it? Is that really?
Oh God, I don't
it's
know.
fascinating. It's a very interesting topic.
That's the one that I'll just sit back in the chair like this. Have to be the one that have my wife back on again, because my wife is huge into. Oh man. That'd
be fun. We can plan it out sometime. We'll do it. We'll make a fun episode on that. We'll do a long one for that. We'll do like an hour and a half. We'll give them an extra 30 minutes on that one.
So anyway, thank you for listening tonight. This is the Voice of Reason. I'm Andy Van Beber, Travis Kirkendall, and for Sean Phillips, please tune in and catch us next week. We'll see you then.
Thank you for listening to the Voice of Reason podcast. Be sure to check out our other content on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok.